This Margari season, violin exponent Nandini Muthuswamy takes center stage on We Connect.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those glorious sounds, the glorious strains of music that you heard as a run-in to our show today. Welcome to We Connect. We're really glad that you could join us here. Nandini Muthuswamy is our guest today. She's the acclaimed violinist. She's here in Chennai on a brief visit. She comes back every single December. Of course, she's extremely well known for her Western classical music, for her South Indian classical music, for her fusion music, for her world music. So what more can I say about our guest tonight, except that we really need to get in and talk with her
Thank you,
now.
Jennifer. It's lovely to meet you on this show.
Now, of course, you had an advantage, musical genes in the family. That must have helped.
Definitely, lots. In fact, it's with humility that I'm allowed to say that I belong to a family of musicians. I'm the fourth generation of musician from my family. And right from my grandfather, Sri V. Lakshmi Narayana, from whom I learned music, who was a musicologist, a professor, a violinist himself who taught music at the University of Jaffna. Then my mother, Srimati Subbalakshmi Muthuswamy, who was also my guru. She's a vocalist and violinist. And my three world-renowned uncles, Sri L. Vaidyanathan, Dr. L. Subramaniam, and Dr. L. Shankar. And of course, my sister, Dr. M. Lalita as well. So we are all a family of musicians and have been involved in music for several generations. And it's a big advantage because 24/7 you're with music.
Yes, but do you ever actually get to perform with a lot other members of your family?
But being a professional musician, it's like we hardly meet each other.
You're traveling all over the world performing.
Yes, the music takes you across different countries, so it becomes quite a rarity to, in fact, see each other. But then I think there are some very, very rare occasions, once in a blue moon, when you get to meet all of them and do some music, chat away, and things like that. But then again, the topic will definitely be music.
Right. But of course, every year you backtrack towards Chennai because of festival season, and that's happening again for you as we talk here in December.
Yes.
So tell us how the festival itself is going for you personally.
For me, Madras in December, Madras itself is very special. It's the city of my birth, the place where I've lived for several years, which is very, very dear to me. And it's all the more special during December because you have this music festival going on. And being a musician who has traveled globally across several countries, I think there's no parallel to this music festival anywhere else. Its magnitude, even the spirit of the festival itself is so very special that it's so infectious.
Right.
And I cannot live outside Chennai in December. I have to be back to savor the music, the flavor.
Would you say then, Nandini, that that's probably true of all musicians and all particularly Carnatic music fans and performers as well? Everybody gravitates towards Chennai in December.
Yes, definitely. Everybody flocks back to Chennai. Not only the musicians themselves, but also the rasikas, the lovers of Carnatic music. You find lots of people coming from, lots of NRIs, a lot of people from different countries coming to Chennai to flavor the season. And for me, it's also a sense of fulfillment when I perform in Chennai. It's like coming back to your own mother. And irrespective of the fact that I perform for the rest of the 11 months in different countries across the globe, but performing in Chennai itself is very special during December, and the different kacheris, the concerts which you do in the traditional Carnatic style and in Carnatic sabhas is something which has to be experienced.
Right. Of course, you have been playing the violin since you were 3 years old. I mean, at 3 years old, could you even pick up that violin is my next question.
Yes, I have an answer to it. It was a very, very, very special tiny
violin.
quarter-size violin.
Okay, so it was especially made for you.
It was made for my uncle. In fact,
Okay.
my last uncle, Dr. Ravi Shankar, he was as a toddler, he was pestering my grandfather to get him a violin. My grandfather said, "What about a cycle?" He said, "No cycle. I want only a violin."
Okay.
So those days they imported this quarter-size violin from Germany. It was such a hassle, but still my grandfather did it because his son was so adamant on having a violin.
Right.
Because he had seen my other uncles play the violin. So he also wanted to do it. So being a very tiny boy, my grandfather especially made this quarter-size violin, and it has been a heirloom. So all the violinists in my family have started on that violin.
I bet it's a lucky violin, probably.
Very.
Right. Let me ask, Nandini, who were your earliest teachers?
My earliest teacher was, of course, my grandfather.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
Sri V. Lakshmi Narayana. In fact, I feel so honored and privileged to have learned from him. And he was a very sweet grandfather, and his favorite grandchildren, my sister and myself. But then, as a teacher, he was totally a very different person.
Was he tough?
Very tough.
Strict and stuff?
Very strict. As a child, it used to be so confusing because during music hours, this man is so strict and
would change?
Yeah, would totally
Personality.
change. Yes, and be so strict. He would want you to do specific hours of rigorous abhyasa or practice. Learn from him with all sincerity, no playing around, and things like that. But once the class hours were over, he used to be like so friendly. We used to watch I Love Lucy together.
All right, okay.
Goodies, the popular comedy show, and he used to take me for walks, get me whatever I need, little knickknacks, snacks, and things like that. He used to really pamper me so well. But only during these class hours, he was such a different personality.
There's so much affection in you as you speak about your grandfather. Did he have the opportunity to actually see you perform?
Yes.
He did?
Yes, he did. Though he lived in the US for a very long period, even during the very first concert, we wanted him to be around here. But then he couldn't travel at that time. So he said, "My blessings are there, go ahead." And it happened several years ago, maybe say about a couple of decades ago, 25 years ago, at Alliance Française, where actually I learned French. And there was a very famous musician, Jean Billiard, coming from France, and they wanted to honor him by showcasing our traditional music. And when my parents asked my grandfather's permission, because he's the guru, and he said, "Go ahead, my blessings are there." And that's how the first concert happened. But then even after that, he did come to Chennai, and he has seen us perform. We had the honor and privilege of him conducting the concert by keeping the thala. So those are very, very cherished moments.
I would imagine so. Nandini, we're going to ask you just to hang on a moment. We're going to take a very short break here on Reconnect, and we'll get right back with you.